just ask a question?
Yeah.
What do you think the swollen ankles and Oedipus's limp kind of symbolize or foreshadow in the play?
So basically, first of all, Oedipus's like name represents the name Swollen Foot, and then when he was young, like
Jocasta.
just Jocasta, she tied what was it, Oedipus' ankle, and then to throw him away in the mountains. But later, like the messenger, like he picks the Oedipus up and then unties the ankle. But unfortunately, this injury in the ankle like kind of makes him limp throughout his whole life. And later, like we found out, like because of this ankle, like his injury, this becomes the ultimate hint of hint that recognizes Oedipus as Jocasta son, and like eventually giving tragedy to Oedipus. And like, what do you think about what I just said?
Um, I think uh, you're right, and I also think that this adds kind of irony to the kind of dramatic irony to the play because the audience they know what the limp symbolizes and what it kind of implies. So um, it shows that Oedipus, like no matter what he does, he can't really escape fate because his limp, which he had from his birth, um, means that it was already decided long before, and um, whatever he does, it's just he can't really escape that kind of
Fate.
fate.
I agree. So like his fate is determined like since he was born. Like for example, like we can just see from the prophecy that when Oedipus was born, like he'll kill his father and eventually marry his mother. And we found out it becomes true. So like the ankle, and then also the three road where it meets. It mentions where this is the place where Oedipus kills his father, but he doesn't know his father. So his fate is determined by the prophecy, and the ankle is the, as I said before, it's a hint and the sign of his foreshadowing like tragic end. Like also like even though like swollen foot is the good symbolism in this topic, I think another good topic to talk about in this play is hubris of Oedipus. What do you think about like does Oedipus has any hubris, and what do you think about his hubris in the hubris role in this play?
Well, hubris, like meaning kind of excessive like pride, kind of is probably one of the main factors that causes his downfall, and probably what makes him a tragic hero. And I think this because he his his pride in kind of being determined to figure out Leia's murderer, and he thinks that he has to like be this honorable man who has to solve this like problem. But in thinking so, he's actually digging for the truth, like the truth that's going to ultimately hurt him, and that's going to prove to him that the prophecy is true. So I think his pride is what brings about his own downfall.
Also, like when you think of his pride and hubris, it's kind of like it's really obvious in the text in many lines. For example, in line like 6 or like line where is it? Line 270, like he's very confident about his like status as a king. And I think this is because he's the one who actually saved us in the first place. He actually saved the city from the Sphinx, like by solving the riddle. And like also like now he's also hubris because he's also like has pride and has what do you call it he wants to save the city to even gain more pride by finding a murderer because he thinks he's responsible for digging the truth while he's the one who actually is blinded by truth. So his like ego and hubris uh, eventually backfired him. As you can see, the like later he blinds himself and like he loses all this power. Like coming like talking about the power, like I also wanna mention about Creon. Like although like in the end like Creon gets his power at the end, we can see his leadership is quite different from Oedipus because Oedipus is more like doing like actions, but Creon always thinks about things and before like things before doing the action. Bye.